Have you ever wondered why the US imports a lot of things and why a lot of things on our products say made in China? Have you ever wondered that? Well, I'm here to explain that for you. And number one, this is not a bad thing. And basically this video is meant to show you why why us importing everything is such a great thing. So yeah, if I convince you in this video in 9 minutes or less why the US importing everything is a good thing, please let me know down in the comments below. And if you disagree with me, tell me why down below. We can have a constructive conversation with no name calling. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So my number one thing that I found and I kind of just thought of immediately was the low labor costs. You see, this is a whole like little whole little this is a big thing here because look, this is the whole thing with the immigration thing, the illegal immigration, right? Down in the south part at least. No US citizen is gonna want to be a farmer. Nobody's gonna want to go to a farmer and say, I want a job and I'll work for $2 a day, $2 an hour, and I'll go farm your crops and help you out. Nobody's gonna do that if they're a U.S. citizen. I tell you that nobody's doing that. But if they're a Hispanic, I'm gonna say Hispanic. Hold on, I'm trolling. Let me recuperate. Boop boop boop. If they're an illegal immigrant, they're gonna more likely be like, oh yeah, I'll gladly work for $2 an hour, and they'll go farm crops for 12 hours and be able to accumulate a bunch of harmful hours and work like 50 million hours a week. So that's a big thing here for why we import everything is because the citizens that are in the U.S., it is not like a bad thing either. We value or we are going to do things that are more how do I say it? We're going to do things that are more bougie. We're going to be doctors. We're going to be engineers. We're going to be big things that contribute to big things. We're not going to be helping out somebody on their farm unless we want to be a farmer, right? Unless that's going to get us to where we want to be. And most people are going to work for $2 an hour. The value of a U.S. citizen represents the dollar the value of the dollar, right? So $2 an hour does not equate the value of a dollar or the value of a U.S. citizen in terms of work. So a U.S. citizen will not work for that. But I tell you this, immigrant or someone foreign, $2 an hour sounds like heaven. And they make 2 cents an hour over where they're from. So they're going to gladly work for $2 an hour. So that's why we import a lot of things in terms of when you consider labor costs, right? Now let's talk about, things that we need. A lot of people will complain about is phones and technology because we manufacture a lot of things from China, especially phones like the iPhone or a bunch of Android phones and devices. They're made in China. But like I said, labor cost. Consider this. It costs right now, the way iPhone makes their phone, many of their phones, they use China as a supplier and whatnot or whatever, however that works. They use someone foreign to build their stuff out, or look at clothing, for example. They use China. A lot of people use China as their supplier, and they have their workers in China, that supplier, and those workers are working for 2 cents an hour, and they're going to build out that little product and make a little, make it look good and whatnot. And then they're going to send it over to Apple, and they're going to send it over to the clothing company, and that company is going to only pay like $100, $200 to manufacture this whole device, and then they can go and sell it wholesale this price at a bigger price. Now, if they're using U.S. labor, though, it's going to be much more expensive. Nobody's going to work for 2 cents an hour like they do in China. So that 2 cents turns into $20 an hour just to be an engineer for a phone. So what that does is if that phone costed $200 to make in China, that phone's going to cost like $300, $600 to make, $800 to make just in the U.S. alone. So what that does is that iPhone, Apple, they're gonna say it cost us $800 to develop this phone. We have to pay for marketing, labor, web design, ads, employees, janitors for our building, everything. And we still have to make a profit on top of that. We have to pay for any we have to do refunds, inventory count lost, and everything. It wouldn't make sense. The price would be diabolical if they did everything from the US. So it would be much easier to go to China where the dollar is worth less, or the dollar is worth less because the people work for less, and we go and get it from them. We get that product, and then we can sell it for less, which becomes more accessible for others, the citizens. So that is the big thing there that, you know, we have to consider is, if we want things to be cheaper, then we should most likely go foreign and go domestic. But if we value, you know, if we're trying to be doomers and we're trying to fear what could be happening in manufacturing foreignly, and we want to be safe in terms of combative or defensive and conservative, then sure, yeah, let's go and develop these things in house, and let's risk the much higher price. But we don't want that to happen, because even then it's still bad for the business, right? They want to make as much money as possible. They want to decrease the amount that it costs to make a product without decreasing in quality, right? So they're going to go and they're going to find a way to decrease the price. And that way to decrease price is to manufacture domestically. Now, that's pretty much all I have. And you don't need to go too deep into this topic of why the US imports everything, right? You can apply this to literally everything, right? And in reality, it's all a form of trade. China gets something out of it, we get something out of it. We get a product that we can sell for less and at an affordable rate that the citizens can afford, right? Everybody in the United States can somehow afford a phone, right? You can go to Facebook Marketplace, buy a phone for $50. You can go into the Apple Store and buy a phone for less than $1,000. You know, phones aren't at a drastic price where it's out of reach completely. But, you know, if we were to do this in-house, it would be super difficult to get our hands onto these things. My goodness, excuse me. I need water. But yeah, that's how this works, guys. If you learned something from this video, please let me know down below. If you disagree, let me down below. We can have a conversation peacefully and dang, I'm losing words here because I'm dehydrated, but we can have a constructive conversation. But thank you for watching this video. My name's Meek Ander. Yeah, I don't give out financial advice because I don't know what I'm talking about completely in terms of making money. I can't give you advice on how to make money because I've never made money myself other than a part-time job that I work. So yeah, my knowledge on how to do that and increase your money in your bank account is limited. So please don't ask me. Go to some financial advisor who can tell you what money moves to make video, because I'm not there yet. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.